I'm Terry.
And we're escaping the empty nest.
So, welcome back to our video number 4 in our series of our trip to Denver, Colorado. If you haven't seen any of our other videos, check out the playlist that we have on Denver, Colorado. You'll also want to subscribe so that you won't miss any new content.
Yeah. We chose this day trip because of our love for scenic trains. We've taken the trip on the Texas State Railroad that goes from Palestine to Rusk in Texas, and so we were very excited about a train ride through the Rocky Mountains. But once again, we had an hour drive from the hotel to get there.
We reserved our tickets in advance for both the train and the silver mine tour, and you pick them up in person once you get to the facility.
We had a choice between a covered car or an uncovered car. We chose a covered car on the way down the track first because it was a little cold, a little misty. We weren't sure if it was going to rain at any minute, so we wanted to protect ourselves and the camera and things like that. There were conductors on the train who had microphones, and they kind of talked you through the process and gave you the history of the area and let you know when a scenic view was coming up.
We rode a windy path up the mountain to the end of the line, and we learned that the Georgetown Loop was not an actual loop.
Go figure.
But we had to stop so that the engine could be moved to the back of the train to take us back down the mountain on the same track that we had just came up for. And it was about a 25-minute turnaround.
Yeah. About halfway down to go back to the depot, the train stopped at the platform, and that's where we unloaded everybody who was doing the silver mine tour. And the idea was that they get off, the train moves on, and then the silver mine tour lasts just long enough for the next train in the next hour or so to come back and pick up everybody.
I'll start by saying that the tour was interesting at first. Our rather dry tour guide took us to the different areas of the mining camp so we could feel what a day in the life of a miner would be. We learned about the process of mining for our silver. We got our miners' helmets and actually got to go through a mine approximately 1,000 feet into the mountain.
Yeah, so that's where the problem actually started for me. For those of you who don't know, I am really, really tall. I'm about 6'8", and they had us wear these miner helmets that added about 3 inches to our height. So imagine I'm 6'11", right? And then imagine me crawling through a space that was probably designed for somebody that was 5'6" or less. Even she was having to duck quite a bit, and she's like 5'9". So it was difficult. It started off okay, just kind of duck your head a little bit. The further you got, the more cramped it got. And by the time I got 1,000 feet down the path to where we turn around and come back, I was hurting pretty bad. My lower back was hurting. I was tired of being stooped over. I couldn't even really walk with my head down because the ceiling was so uneven. You felt like if you kept your head down, you would walk right into something because it might be 5'8" in one part and then 5'4" a few feet later, so you had to watch where you were going, and it was uncomfortable. I kind of wish they had given a warning about that on the website. Warning, if you're over 6'2" and maybe don't have the strongest back in the world, you may not want to do this because it's not really appropriate for everybody. If somebody doesn't have a problem walking all hunched over, then yeah, they're going to be fine. But I'm over 50. I do not have the strongest back in the world, and I paid the price for it. So anyway. So what would you say our overall impression of the Georgetown Railroad was?
At times the trip was scenic, but most of the time you were just looking at the trees. It wasn't nearly as long as we thought it would be. The end-around engine swap that they did actually made the whole entire train ride very, very short.
Yeah. So we were also a little disappointed that, in May we thought everything would be spring and green and stuff like that. But honestly, the trees were there, but a lot of dead grass, a lot of winter colors, and it just didn't seem that green to us. Of course, the mountains were scenic, but it wasn't quite as festive. It wasn't as lively as we thought it would be.
I did actually get a Mother's Day rose and a small box of chocolates because the date we went was actually Mother's Day. So that was a nice surprise. It was pretty unexpected when we got off. Would we do this again? No, but at least I can say we did it. We hope you found all of this video informative.
Yeah. We're sorry if you think this video is overly negative or not fair. If you had a different experience and if you had a great time on the Georgetown Loop Railroad, tell us about it. Maybe it's the time of year we went, maybe it was the weather, maybe it has something to do with my height. I don't know, but overall it wasn't an experience we absolutely loved. But like she said, we don't regret doing it. It's just not anything we would do again.
We have one more video left in our series about our trip to Denver, Colorado, and on this trip we will be headed to the Buffalo Bill Museum and gravesite.
Yeah, we hope you've enjoyed the series so far, and just remember to check the playlist and make sure you've seen them all if you're thinking about going to the Denver area. Bye for now.